not alleged discrimination that these people are facing in South Africa. I mean, the law there absolutely allows their property to be confiscated. They are subject to racial discrimination. Some have been subject to violence from some reports that I have read. I mean, we're talking about 50-something people, and the people who seem to be angriest about this today had no problem with 20 million coming here. Some of the worst people in the world coming here, including gang members and so on and so forth. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for the folks who are outraged today after what happened to this country over the last several years, over 50-something people who are clearly being discriminated against in South Africa.
That's Scott Jennings calmly handing out L's to an entire CNN panel after they tied themselves in knots, trying to explain why it's bad for 59 white South African refugees to legally come to America, but great when millions pour in illegally. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and apparently no human is illegal only applies if you're crossing the border with a cartel coyote and a Democrat voting record. Because when a group of predominantly white Christian South Africans not looking for handouts apply for legal refugee status, the establishment media loses its mind. Here's Jennings letting one of CNN's political hacks talk herself into a corner while pretending she cares about South Africa.
And so 30 plus years ago, they went through a the apartheid system ended, and they reformed their constitution under the great leader of Nelson Mandela, and that allowed for a racial reconciliation, one that this country has yet to do, but South Africa did it, and they reformed their constitution, and part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen, which are the white Africans, and so who are not originally from Africa, who colonized South Africa also. And so that is what they are saying is discrimination. Now, if the Constitution in South Africa is discriminatory, they have their checks and balances in that land, just like we do. And that is for them to, so if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They are. They're leaving to come here.
No. They can
these
leave
refugees
and go,
are coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you against them coming here?
Holland, probably.
Holland.
Are you
yes.
against them coming here?
I'm against the hypocrisy of this administration.
No, that's not the question. The question is, are you against them coming here?
If there was actually a genocide happening, like there is in other places in Sudan, in the Congo, I'm not opposed for Congolese and for the Sudanese to come to Africa, just like I'm not opposed to Venezuelans and South Americans coming to America if they are fleeing and looking for asylum.
Okay.
What I am
just
against,
these 50 people you're against.
I am against, it's not about being against them. What I am against is that they are being given special treatment when there is not a genocide happening in South Africa, and they just don't like the law of the land.
Well,
so you know what they tell people?
You know, you could practically see the moment Jennings let her walk into her own trap. First, she claims white South Africans aren't in danger, then turns around and says they should go back to Europe, as if being white disqualifies you from ever needing help. This is the modern liberal game. Talk out of both sides of your mouth while pretending it's compassion. The truth is, this group is facing racially motivated attacks, targeted land grabs, and brutal violence. But CNN doesn't care, because it's not about fairness, it's about resentment. The same people who defend sanctuary cities and open borders suddenly want strict immigration rules when white Christians are involved. Here's Jennings dismantling their double standard in real time.
But there's a very high crime rate in South Africa. They have a crime problem. I suspect that part of what's going on here is that there is a very high profile white South African named Elon Musk, who is very close to President Trump and is probably making this a very high profile issue and talking to Trump about it. You know, Elon Musk has tweeted about it. He's, I think, called the president of South Africa about it. He's been talking about this for a long time. Look, here's the problem. There's Afghanis who helped us.
Well, the previous administration had priorities about who to let in, including, all kinds of folks who I would argue shouldn't be here. This administration, I guess, is going to set priorities about who and who not to let in.
But let's just be honest about what those priorities are, right? And by the way, I'm a Democrat here. I did not defend the Biden administration on immigration.
But you voted for him.
So
that doesn't mean that I defended him on immigration.
You voted for a continuation of it in 2024, did you not?
I did not vote for his policies on immigration.
But you voted
Did
to.
you vote? Do you?
Okay,
but
but
you-
you
there
voted.
are
But
things
you
about
voted.
Donald Trump
You
you
voted
don't
to
like
extend
either,
the
Scott.
immigration policies of the last administration.
No,
The
no,
point
I
is-
did not vote for that.
The point
I did
is,
not vote for that.
you're in a
No.
party that opened the borders, and I'm in a party that closed the borders, and I think the American people prefer it our way.
Well, he's
Close
closed the
them for
border.
Jennings is absolutely right here. Biden had zero issue playing favorites on immigration, whether it was handing out exemptions or letting in unvetted migrants by the millions. But when Trump lets in 59 vetted white Christians, that's where they draw the line. This isn't about policy, it's about punishing people who don't fit their narrative. The media can't handle a refugee story that challenges their racial and ideological worldview. And it's frankly brilliant that Trump is setting up another 80-20 issue where normal Americans see the hypocrisy and the Democrats tie themselves in knots trying to defend it. Everything liberals are saying to oppose this can be flipped right back on their open borders policies, but they're too wrapped up in punishing the wrong kind of refugee to notice. But let me know what you think. What are your thoughts about the 59 South Africans? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.